I'm just going to jump right into some of the projects we've done so you can see what we've been doing. Auburn 7.
Let me control it for you.
Okay, yeah, if you want to just flip through the pictures. This is the first, as I mentioned, one of the first projects that were, the first project that we did, and also one of the first small lot subdivision projects that was done. It's in Silver Lake. It was a great site for this, and we were kind of lucky. Our timing was good. The small lot subdivision ordinance had just come in. As you can see, it was kind of a sloped lot, and several people took a run at this lot. This front area here, actually, we didn't own. It's DWP land. Incidentally, Builders Bank financed it, and they did a wonderful job. Part of the problem is the 30-foot height limitation, which I could see some of your projects, you ran into that too, which is a challenge because you can't, it's from 5-foot offset of the outside of the perimeter of the building that you can't be over 30 feet through the whole thing. And with a site that sloped like that, it's the whole building. So people are looking at it as condos or whatever, but a sloped site, you got to take the highest point anywhere. You can hardly build anything. You have to go way subterranean in order to make it work. So nobody could figure out what to do with it. It had been in and out of escrow several times. It's 13,000 foot lot. It was RD 1.5 zoning. We could have put 8 houses on it. We only put 7 because it fit much better. A lot of development, and I'm sure these guys have the same challenge, is driven by parking. It's kind of silly. You first design for the car, and then you design for people. I have a partner who's a general contractor, although I've gotten my general contractor's license since. We did it together, and we actually both moved into, each of us took a unit, not because we had to, we were sold out at the back end. We closed out all the units at the beginning of 2009. Not a great time, but I think the market appreciated what it was. It's been on the green housing tour. 6 of the units have solar power on the roofs. We set them up for solar back then, and 6 of the buyers elected to have it. 1 didn't. They had to pay for the panels. And they have great views. And we tried to make them. We live in Silver Lake, so we were very sensitive about the community and everything. At the front side, it's 2 stories. I think you saw some of the photos in the back. It slopes down, so we had tuck under parking in the back. So in terms of like the impact on the area, but they did have nice views from both the front and the back. This is the DWP lot, which was government agencies can be a challenge. They were a pain. In the end, they were okay. They got mad. We couldn't get them to agree to anything, so finally we just said, F it, we'll just landscape it. And they got all pissed off, but I think they got over it eventually, because it was just this front area is just a dirt lot with people parked cars and weeds and what have you. So why don't we jump to, if you could, to La Rosa, which is our next project, and actually where I live now. It's a smaller project. We actually own the land, and it was following up on the Auburn project, and we probably wouldn't have, you just click gallery.
Right click it.
We developed it really, it was the most depressing economic point in the cycle, but we owned the land, and it was kind of like, well, we got our money tied up, and if nobody's going to be buying land right now, we might as well develop it, and we'll get our money out. And fortunately, it worked out quite well. We sold, I actually moved into one of the units, and again, I sold my Auburn unit, moved over here, and we sold it pretty quickly, the other unit pretty quickly, and we made some money on it, so it was good. We actually, we have several other projects going on. There are no pictures because they're not done yet, but we have a single-family development project going in the Mount Washington area, which is a challenging place to develop. And then we have I'm doing an 11-unit apartment building in Silver Lake, not far from Tularosa there, that just broke ground a month ago. And then also I have bought a bunch of land urban land, I was able to take advantage of the downturn and pick up a lot of property for pretty cheap. And I think that, I mean, we were fortunate because we were in the small lot business. When the economy went down, we were able to sell our product. The worst thing is to just hold inventory and not be able to unload it. We made money on the stuff we did, so we were able to roll that into doing other things. I would say for just general advice for somebody who's a smaller developer, you really have to be a jack of all trades. You have to know everything. You have to be somewhat of a control freak. You can't. These guys are good. They sound like they know what they're doing, but generally, you got to watch your architect. You got to watch your engineer, because they'll go crazy on you. And before you know it, you'll have something that just is too expensive that the market's not going to, see the value of what you spent. And complication causes increases in cost, causes mistakes, and costs money and time. So you want to try to keep it simple. We don't have any steel in these. We had to have some steel in this Tularosa project, but they were just 2 moment frames. In the Scandia project, no steel. The Sanborn Apartments, no steel. We have Simpson hardy frames, but no steel. It keeps it much simpler and quicker to develop. It's partly a cost thing. The cost isn't tremendous, but you can keep one of the subs out when you're building and keep it simpler, you're going to be much better off. I've learned a lot through the process. My background was actually real estate finance for a long time. And I would say also you got to be careful how you set things up. I've seen a lot of architects try to be developers, and their egos get the best of them. There's a nice guy, he developed he was like the first guy who did small lot subdivision in Silver Lake. I won't name his name, but great guy and everything. And he started a year before us on Auburn, and his project got all screwed up. He lost it to the bank, and it's just on the market now. Somebody bought it from the bank, finished it up, and it was kind of ill-conceived from the start. Even at the very beginning, and he didn't see the writing on the wall at the beginning, his grader comes in and digs up the whole site, but he never read the soils report saying you got to be 2 feet into bedrock. So he had to dig his footings 2 more feet deeper because nobody's paying attention. I mean, this is like the kind of detail he got into. I think it's a safer end of the business than a lot of other areas because the margins the net dollar amount you can make because it's smaller is less, but the margins, if you do it right, can be a lot higher, so you got a lot more cushion if the market goes sideways. I mean, my focus now is I'm trying to do a lot of different things just so I don't, and I want to know what I'm doing and make sure I do it right. But I don't think it's smart just to stay in one product type or whatever. So that's why we're doing single family. I'm doing apartments, have a land fund going, and I think that's something to think about as well. So I'm open to questions later. But